We are Allison and James, a pair of minimalist adventure enthusiasts striving to live a more sustainable and intentional life. This is the part of our story where we purchase an old dumpy airstream and attempt to turn it into our tiny home base camp in just 60 days. We were pretty optimistic at this point. After several weeks of intense hard work, we finally had a blank canvas to start making our dream mobile home a reality. This episode, we finalize the design and walk you through the layout. And we attempt to build walls, which proved to be way more of a challenge than we anticipated. We just walked ourselves through the layout and actually drew it out on the subfloor. So I'll walk you through what we're thinking of. Essentially, this is gonna be the kitchen area. We've got 2 feet of countertop on either side. This side we have sink, and then we have kind of a prep area. Directly across from that we have a oven, stove. We're not quite sure if we're gonna do an oven yet, but we'll definitely have a stove. And then there will be a fridge and freezer combo, but smaller size. And then moving back, we will have a wall here between these 2 windows, leading into what we're calling a wet bath. James marked it out on the floor. At first I was like, I don't think I can fit through this little doorway. But essentially in here we're gonna have the lovely Nature's Head composting toilet and I don't know, an extra 1.5 feet or so to shower. So shower head will be on this wall or this wall. We're not sure yet. It'll all be fiberglass. And so there'll be a little bench here so you could like sit and shampoo and do all your business and then exit the bathroom. From here, the countertop is actually gonna cut in a little bit and come back to the wheel well. And that'll just lead back to the bedroom area. So we'll have some storage space here and then a big queen size bed. And then everything behind the bathroom will just be a closet space. So extra storage for us, a place to hang clothes, and then we can have some storage under the bed as well. We're pretty stoked. Everything kind of worked out the way we thought it would. And the measurements are basically perfect.
Framing. They're all a little long.
Well, that adds some dimension to the space.
So we now have a pole to walk around.
Relatively straight as a starting point.
It's as straight as we need to be in a color set.
much privacy as we get in a tiny space. You can still reach through and have some utility.
Let's call it a wrap for a night. I think 2 walls is good.
I think that looks pretty good. When we left you last, we had just finished framing in our bathroom walls and we were settling in for the night. We went skiing yesterday. We take one day off to have some fun because otherwise you just go a little crazy. But we're back here today and we are gonna finish the bathroom walls. We've got one more to build and then we can start on some other stuff. Project lead, what are we doing?
We're gonna build this wall, get it all set into place. There's a little bit more framing that we need to do inside the bathroom area here for the shelf kind of seating area. And then there's a whole bunch of just little odd tasks that we need to get done. There's a bunch of holes still in the walls. They all need to be patched with fiberglass. Start marking out the counters and running a little bit of electrical and a little bit of plumbing.
Sounds like a mixed bag of things to do. We're still waiting on our flooring, so that's a little bit of a setback, but there's still lots of other things that we need to get done, so we're gonna get stuck into it. So how are you making sure that the walls are straight?
So we have a center line running down the center of the airstream here, and then we'll also transcribe that center line down the floor so that we can take parallel measurements between the center lines in the wall and make sure that they align with the measurements from the center line to the bottom of the wall. The other way to double check that it's straight that we're using is to take our set square, and that way we can see how close to a right angle we are between the wall and the floor. And you have to check that on several different parameters. And really, in a space that has so many curves, that's about the best we can really do when it comes to setting stuff straight. So it's gonna have to do. You just play around with it until you get it as close to as square as you can. So at the moment, I'm just trying to fix my mistakes from last night. As you can see, I cut my framing a little bit short when I was doing my measurements. Kind of happens, it's a big curve and it's a little tricky. So at the moment, I'm just making some blocks here just to help fill in the gaps. My idea and my thinking is that I'm fairly square in the walls down here at the lower section where it's more secured, but up here where the frame is still floating a little bit, it's kind of just bowing out with the bend in the wood. So I'm gonna block this out so that it's flush against the wall, attach a couple of little L brackets and see if I can't just suck it in a little bit to make it as square as possible. Once I do that, I'm gonna take the parallel off this wall and see if I can square this wall to that one, and hopefully that should leave us with what is essentially a box. We've taken the measurement from the back of the wall here to where I want the wall to be on this side. I cut this stick, that way we just have to line in this up with this side and we can make sure that it's going to be square to the wall in multiple places throughout. Thus hopefully getting this wall and this wall to more or less be parallel. So the framing's done, it's all secured, bottoms are in, tops are in, it's pretty well square. I think it's about as good as it's going to get. When you shoot a line of sight down the trailer, it all seems to line up reasonably well, so couldn't be happier. Except for the middle one doesn't. We might have to change that.
Darn. I think it's good enough.
I think so. You know, like, they're non-structural walls. They're not really carrying any weight. They're kind of just decorative to give yourself some privacy when you're taking a poop. So, I think I'll do.
Nice work.
Yeah.
I'm an artiste.
A regular old Picasso, eh? Didn't say it was easy.
It's literally rejecting it. Kind of like eating spaghetti. It's like trying to make a peanut butter sandwich, but all the peanut butter sticks to your knife instead of the bread. Super frustrating. This is what we're working with, people. We've got a table saw set up on the aluminum box that we took out of the airstream. We don't have a workshop, so, you know, this'll do. So we have switched gears a little bit and now we are framing in our countertops.
Wow, counter bases, really.
The counter bases. So James and I just ripped off this wood on the table saw.
We're going to build a frame here for the base. It's not just going to be two pieces sitting upright on the floor, but we're going to cut a piece to run across the back here, and then several upright struts to run this way, and then probably another piece that runs across here with another few little bits of bracing in here. We can then level to make sure that the rest of our cabinetry that we put on top of it is also then level.
do you think?
Sounds pretty good. It looks pretty square. Hell of a lot squarer than the bathroom framing.
This. Let's check out the new fridge we bought.
You know, probably would have been easier to open the bottom and then lift the box off the fridge.
Yeah.
Apparently we've never unboxed a fridge before.
Ta-da!
Check it out.
We're so modern. We refrigerate our foods. Look at that.
So I think it's somewhere about here.
Beauty.
Modern kitchen.
We were gonna go with a fridge and freezer combo, and it would have went up to like there. Then we decided, you know what? We don't need a freezer. We can live without smoothies and frozen fresh.
It's gonna be a tough life. But that's what it's all about. Eating more, straight from the farm, straight to your table, get rid of the carbon footprint of food.
Yeah.
Stop using electricity to keep stuff cold, like indefinitely. Everybody has shit in their freezer that's been there for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, just think about the energy involved in like maintaining that thing, which you would probably throw out in 3 months' time when you clean out your freezer.
Totally.
So,
Fresh is best.
yeah. Time to start learning to do without.